Deconstructing. 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 Deconstructing.
For a start, just a blue ball start. Hey there, friends and family and folks and friends at home. I hope you're tuning in on your couches and loved ones' laps. Welcome back to Daydream Farmers. We're going to start off. Ready? What's your intro? Meeshy, go.
I am Meeshy. I'm a local DJ, a creative, a dreamer, self-proclaimed fashionista.
Ooh.
And I'm here to bring it.
We love the fashion. We love the kimono.
Thank you.
Feeling lively.
Yes.
How was your day? We saw you on a trip. How was your trip?
Yeah, I went in the Caribbean and I launched my YouTube with a music mix that I did there, and that was really the main goal of the trip. But also I had a really fun snorkeling, and I played with some pigs in the Bahamas. Ooh. And that was a different experience, but I
never
loved
swam
it.
with pigs before.
Never swam with pigs. Never knew ocean pigs was a thing, but there they were, and I was loving it.
What would you say your favorite part of the whole trip was?
My favorite part was hanging out with my family, because I'm 32 years old, and I'm one of 5, and my parents live in Indiana, so we got together and I hung out with my siblings, and it's such fun to hang out with them as adults, because it's kind of like your childhood comes out.
Yeah.
It's oh, I remember that about you, and you give each other crap. And one night we were going to the cruise club, and I put on my sunglasses. We were in the room and we had bottles of Prosecco, and I put on music videos in the back. I'm like, this is DJ Meeshy's Club rules. And I gave him all the rules made up about dancing on the cruise club. And it was, do the shuffle. I taught him how to shuffle, always wear your sunglasses. But if you want to make eye contact with a girl, pull them down, do a wink, and that'll draw them in.
Yeah. Now, do you leave them down, or you put them back up? What's the after? Because you got to finish line this.
Well, put them back up. But for me, I like just the sweet spot where you can tilt it, and you can make a little eye contact. And
I feel like that's almost like a sassy grandma too. You bring it down, you're just
sassy grandma, or sassy club goer, either way.
Sassy club goer.
And actually, on the cruise, this grandma with a walker went into the club.
Oh, she's slaying it.
She was the hoot of the party. It was hilarious. So that actually might have been my highlight.
I love that.
I got pictures.
Yeah? Oh, you got to show me later.
Yeah.
So, relaxing trip, kind of work-oriented, or kind of more family-oriented and relaxing?
Yeah, so I've just been go for so long. I have a day job. I'm a project coordinator for an engineering company. So that's the logistical side, the analytical side. I work remotely, which is amazing. So that's Monday through Friday, the day job. And then every waking moment outside of that, I'm working on music. So this was a trip for me to just let it all go, and it was great.
So now you said your family's from Indiana. Are you originally from Indiana?
Yeah, I was born in California, and then we moved to Indiana, and I grew up there, and then I moved to Chicago, which started the whole music scene for me and the house music. And then I've lived in San Diego, Guatemala, and now Florida.
Very nice. And you're settling here in Florida, obviously. Is this your permanent spot, or are you thinking you're going to venture off somewhere else next?
Who knows? With me, I'm always go with the wind, see what happens. But for now, it feels like home, and I really feel like I'm meant to grow roots here. And I can't say I felt that about a lot of the places that I go. So it feels good for now.
I feel that. St. Pete is definitely the art community of, from what I've seen, the whole United States. Portland, Oregon's almost got it. They're almost there. You got the Charlotte kids with Asheville up there, but St. Pete's really just got it.
Yeah, everything. Music, art, food, music, people. That's really what drew me in.
St. Pete crowd, the St. Pete family here is just untouched.
Chef's kiss. We love them.
So, you got any projects that you're working on right now? Because we just took a break. We went down to, the Caribbean.
Yeah.
What's your next project? Where's your next move?
Yeah. So that was actually, even though I said it was fun for me to make this music mix video I did for YouTube. So I launched my YouTube with that. And my personal project with music right now is going to destinations, really beautiful aesthetic nature spots, and doing sets there, kind of like Circle.
That's immediately what I thought of.
So I've been watching Circles for years,
I love
that's one of my dreams, is to be on that. So I'm making my own circle with what I have,
Set the daydream, I'll farm it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was really great. I launched that. I made a really great Afro mixed house, and coming from where I come from with my music background, I really love the tribal aspect. So I was able to finally put out something that represented that. That's really
it
up
kind
and
of felt
coming.
more to home, more towards your roots.
Yeah, like I love all genres, and as like an artist, a creative person, and I love just so many different things. But creating that set and making that the debut one for my YouTube just felt really right. So I'm focusing on putting out YouTubes and destinations once a month, and then ambitious but also doable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that brings up then two questions. Where are your roots coming from? Because you say you like all types of music. So like, where do those roots kind of come from? And then I guess the secondary one is, where's your next destination?
Ooh, I love that. So yeah, I would love to talk about what brought me here in this spot here right now. So like I said, I grew up in Indiana. I can't really say the music scene was that great there, but what was good were the bars. Like,
nice. Okay.
If you weren't getting drunk in a cornfield, you were out in the bars. So
I mean, is there anything else to do?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't feel too bold. It is called a flyover state for a reason.
Yeah. So there's the Indy 500. But so I got into the bar scene, and really that's where my love for music started. Dancing. Like, at the heart of it all, I love to dance. That is why I went out, is to dance. Yep. And at the time, it just
gotta get that little shake in the booty.
Yeah, like you gotta get the shakes out somehow.
What's your favorite dance move before we continue?
Oh, it's definitely like the booty.
The booty shake?
The booty shake.
The booty shuffle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
You gotta just fierce booty shuffle on every dance
I like
floor.
a shimmy too.
A little shimmy shaka.
Yeah, a little shimmy, a little booty. But just whatever feels good in my body. And so going out into the bars and listening to music, I loved that. And then I was working in bars, and I got connected with DJs, and I was like, ooh, I love that scene too. And this was, I was going out at 18, so I'm 32. Days. Yeah. Like 14 years ago.
Yeah. Don't let's not age ourselves. Oh God.
I can own it. Yeah. So at the time, the DJ scene was still developing in its own way. And then I got bored of Indiana and I moved to Chicago. And that's when things like really took off as far as like my love for house music. I would say that is the root and the basis of my music taste, is that house beat.
Just that.
Yeah.
Give that a booty shuffle.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was also working out bars there, and then I became friends with more DJs, and we were always going out to clubs, and then Chicago has big headliners go through. So I really got a lot of experience with different types of electronic artists in the house realm, and then my friends DJing as well. But I never thought I would DJ. That was something that just felt kind of untouchable to me.
Kind of like they DJ, I booty shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. Like we work, we both meet each other.
We have a relationship. It's good.
Yeah. It was good. Then I got bored of Chicago, and also part of my journey is I'm 4 years sober.
Good for you.
Yeah, from alcohol. So that was, growing up in Indiana, alcohol was very much a part of my life from a young age, naturally. Yeah. And then in Chicago, again, the same thing, just in a bigger city. What is there to do other than go out, eat, and drink? Like,
like you can get some horrible debauchery, but like,
we'll keep it at that.
Yeah,
that's like
we'll keep it off the streets,
Yeah. So like the nature aspect was really missing from my life. So I
City
really
life.
wanted that from the city life. I really wanted that, and I wanted to kind of just reset my life and reevaluate my values and where I was going. And I was working in bars for so long, like I was burnt out on that. So I moved to San Diego, sold everything in Chicago, took my Honda Accord across country, and my mom gave me this little like plaque when I was 9 years old that says "Follow your dreams."
Yeah.
And I have that in my car. Like driving to
that's
San
sweet.
Diego, I found a room off Craigslist, and then I immediately got plugged in with the local DJs there, and that started with going to sunset yoga on the beach. I just happened to go across this like sign that said sunset yoga on the beach, like all these people, and then there was a
Let's go.
DJ. Yeah, and there was a DJ, and I was like, what is this, like DJ on the beach yoga? Like none of them are drinking. Like this is amazing.
Almost like our drum circle.
Yeah. Oh,
little
minus
touches
that
of it,
little-
like
yeah, like definitely tastes of that same thing here in St. Pete, which is why I ended up here. So yeah, I became friends with some San Diego DJs, and my life really shifted from experiencing music from bars into experiencing it into nature. So we did the beach pop-ups every single week, and we would throw like big dance parties on Pacific Beach.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah. And again, in my mind, I was like, I shake the booty, and they, put down the beats.
Mm-hmm.
And but the line was getting a little blurred. Like I would be like, "What are you doing?" Or like, "Be behind the decks." Or they were also producing, so they were like, "Show me their new tracks."
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was going really great, and COVID happened. And all a blessing in disguise. I lost my job at the time. I was a hairstylist. Yeah, so I went from bars to being a hairstylist.
Is that where we get the lovely looks?
I mean, you could say that. And I was also going to school online for 2 bachelor's degrees. I have a bachelor's in business sustainability, so environmental business and how to make businesses more eco-friendly, and global health, so health on a global scale. And I was doing that through Arizona State University online. And then right when I graduated, I lost my job in the salon, and I had these 2 degrees. And I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And the beaches were shut down. I was like, I can't even go on the beach. Like,
how do you shut down nature? I won't get into that.
How did that happen?
How do you shut down nature?
How did we go down that road? I don't know.
Florida said we're not doing that. We basically were like 2 weeks. No, you guys keep that. The rest of the world keep it. We're gonna just live.
Yeah, I know, and that's another reason why I ended up here. So then at the time, my partner that I was dating, he also lost his job, and we were like, what should we do? And he was like, well, Mexico never closed its borders. Good old Mexico.
Oh, all right.
And we sold everything. I sold my car. I sold literally everything. And we took our backpacks and went backpacking around Mexico during COVID.
That's the best way to spend COVID I think I've heard yet.
Yeah, it was. We were on beaches and villas. No one was around. And it was literally where the wind took us. We would go to a bus stop and we'd be like, that place sounds cool, let's go. And then one time we totally missed the stop, and we went up to the bus driver. We're like, I think we missed our stop. He was like, he just stopped the bus, and he was like, just get off here, there's a cool spot down there. And it ended up being
I love that. Just get off here. Go.
Yeah, we we're like, okay, we walked down there. It ended up being a beautiful gem surfing place on the west coast of Mexico.
Yeah, what was it called?
It was called La Ticla.
La Ticla.
Yeah. And yeah, that was a beautiful experience. So we were for 7 months going around Mexico, and we had heard about Guatemala. And when we were so we made our way to Guatemala, and I heard about this place called the Eagle's Nest, which puts on events and festivals in Lake Atitlan, which is the deepest lake in Central America. There's volcanic mountains around, and they have a beautiful spot, open deck looking over the lake.
So I think that answers my next question of where your next destination to perform is.
That would be full circle.
Full circle.
Sure.
We're getting there.
Yeah, that would be. The seeds are planted. And I get there and they were hiring an event coordinator, and I interviewed and he was like, yeah, I want you to be the event coordinator here. So immediately I started working in Guatemala, putting on festivals.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, from DJs around the world. So there is where I got the taste of totally different, like tribal, ethnic, but all electronic music. Also looping in live instruments, which is a big passion of mine. In part of my long-term dream.
I think the E-jams are probably my favorite. Sun Squammy doing the
Yes,
E-jams.
yeah.
All the electronic music industry. I think that's kind of where we're going to be starting to move into a little bit more. Like, I love the whole electronic, but I think I want to add some more instrumental stuff.
Yes, so. And it is like that. That is definitely happening. And so I just got exposed to so many beautiful artists, musicians, DJs, producers in a very short amount of time. And I was putting on, I did so much there. I literally ran the place and I hit like the best sales they had ever had, like record breaking. And I made the best connections with people. And I recently had like a deep horoscope reading, and she was like, yeah, there were these 3 months in your life from January 2021 to March or April 2021 that changed the path of your life. She was like, where were you? I was like, I was at Eagle's Nest.
Nice.
I was putting on festivals. And the first big event I did was with this DJ producer called Mose, which I am now opening for next month. So that's
good for you.
Pretty much full circle. And I'd heard about him from YouTube sets, and he was big there. And he's up there DJing and has like the flute and the drum and looping in, just like beautiful instruments on top of like electronic beats.
Yeah.
And I felt so free in that moment. And I was like, I want to share this. Like, this is what I want to do. And that's when I decided I want to DJ and now produce music. So fast forward, I'm out of Guatemala. Well, I heard about St. Pete from Guatemala. I was at the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I need to make it back to the U.S. at some point.
Eventually.
Yeah. And this girl was like, you know what's really cool? St. Pete. There's like really great people there.
You know what's the funniest thing? I went to Costa Rica. I went to Thailand. And most of the people are talking about St. Pete. I meet more Americans who are talking about St. Pete than I do anywhere else. The first American I met in Thailand came from St. Pete. I'm like, you're the first American I meet. How are you from my hometown? And like everybody in Costa Rica that I kept meeting was talking about St. Pete. Everybody on the bus that was leaving to go back home, St. Pete.
Yeah, it's just like a whisper in the air. St. Pete, St. Pete. It is,
it was a secret, but like now it's worldwide. It's a worldwide known secret.
Yeah, not so secret anymore.
Yeah.
But
especially
people
with Chris
deserve
Dyer
to know
here.
about it. Yeah.
Like everybody, big and famous, and like everybody's making their moves to make this the art community. I think it's gonna take it over.
Yeah, but it's such a beautiful spot to be in because it's not oversaturated, and I really feel like everyone has a place here. Everyone can let their gifts shine.
If anything, it's oversaturated with artists, and that's nowhere near a bad thing.
No.
I think that it's just like, yeah,
it's like it's the growing, it's the mystery, it's all the beautiful parts of life. And this girl told me about it, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to remember that. And then fast forward like another couple months, I make it back to the US, and it had been like such a beautiful experience backpacking. COVID was kind of dwindling out, and I was like, what am I doing? And I came here and I visited that girl, and we went to Halloween.
Oh, nice. And which year?
I think this was 2022.
2022. That was a good year.
Yeah. It was 2021.
Yeah, Krugman was there. That was a life-changing moment for me there.
Yeah, I've been to like Halloween now since, so I'm like, which year was it? And so she took me around Vinoy Park, and then we drove to Halloween, and then I came back and I went to like this crystal shop here, and the lady was like, pack your bags, we're moving here. I'm like, okay, you say that.
Yep.
So I got back, and as the plane was flying, I like look over the city, and I'm like, this is my home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just feel the calling.
Yeah, and all from like Guatemala, which was from, like Mexico, which was from San Diego, which was from Chicago, which is from Indiana. It's like all these you hear right now.
Yeah. So, and then you said you started getting your interest and started developing that in Guatemala. Where did the name Meeshy come from?
Yeah. So that was one of the like bigger challenges I had was what is my artist name?
Yeah.
And my nickname growing up was Meesh. In high school, that came out. My name's Michelle,
Yes.
so I had a friend start calling me Meesh, and it just kind of felt like it was missing something. I felt like it just needed a little more punch.
A little more oomph.
Yeah, a little more oomph to
Sprinkle
it.
to it, a little snap.
And so, like, I did my first show and I did like this breath work here on the pier, and I still didn't have a DJ name. And I was like, what are they going to announce me? I was like, it was obviously very low key, but I was like, I need to be announced as something. So, my first show, I was Purple Freckles.
Purple Freckles.
Yeah. I was Purple Freckles.
Unknown DJ name, Purple Freckles.
That could be like my like alter, yeah.
If
like,
you ever have a side project.
Yeah, a side project, Purple Freckles.
Everybody has a masked identity where they're like, I'm gonna do a side project, not tell anybody with a mask.
Yeah.
Purple Freckles.
So we'll keep this one.
Keep
on
it,
the
yeah,
DL.
no, yeah.
And then I was like, I just don't see myself growing with that. I think it's cute. I really resonate with purple.
Sure.
For a lot of reasons, mystic and royalty. And then freckles, like I think that's something unique about me, and they come out in the sun. But yeah, it didn't quite resonate. And then I thought about Mystic Mango.
Mystic Mango. I kind of like that one. That one's fun.
Yeah, so I like released, I think it was like one thing on my SoundCloud, or like made my SoundCloud Mystic Mango or something.
Sure.
And I was like, again, I just don't think I can grow into that. So on my birthday, 2022, I went to Mersive.
Okay.
And he had an opener her name's Rossi.
Mm-hmm.
And her name was popping up on the screen. Rossi. And I was like, that Y. I love that Y. Like it's feminine, but also like adds a little more because
it's got a strength to it, but it's also got like a softness side to it. It's like a little yin yang, if you will.
Yeah. And so I was like, Meeshy, and I had this big epiphany on my birthday on the dance floor.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, Meeshy. And my friend was like, yes, you're Meeshy. And she was like, duh. And I was like, duh. And then shortly after, I was just like thinking about what I wanted my unique perspective in the music scene to be. And I was like, well, I really resonate with the archetype of the divine feminine, and I really love dance floors. And I was like bringing the divine feminine to the dance floor. So that really is my goal.
Okay, what does that look like to you?
Yeah, so the divine feminine to me, she represents creativity, intuition. She makes things grow. She brings that feminine essence that typically the music industry is very masculine. Less than 10% of there are less than 10% of women represented in the DJ and production world. It used to be 3% a couple years ago, so we've upped it a little bit. So typically it's a very masculine, dense scene.
I can definitely concur with that. Doesn't help that I started, like more of a joke into that one, like another guy starting it, but like luckily, like at least on our team, not trying to jump too far into that, we just actually hired a female talent agent. So like, she's one hell of a strong woman, and I'm more than happy to hand her the reins, but I can definitely tell you it is very aggressive, cutthroat, and kind of like definitely more male mindseted. Even like, no knock on her, but even like her mindset is far more masculine than mine is. Like she's way more aggressive and cutthroat, where I'm like, I like to, adventure in and keep it more on that softer, like kinder level. And I feel like just in the whole industry, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, that's the duality of life, and that is the yin and the yang, the masculine, the feminine, and even both of us have both of that in us. And so
which one are you fostering more of?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And which one do you naturally, share? And for me, I have been in my masculine most of my life, just having a job at a young age. I've worked really hard for everything I have. Nothing was given to me.
Feel that.
And I come from a working family. My parents worked. I worked. I was babysitting my neighborhood kids. Like I've always had my own money, and
always started young, recognizing the work ethic and kind of like that, the value in the dollar and the value in like what you work and like the sweat of your, the sweat of the brow, creating what you want in your world.
Yeah. And I never really connected that with creativity, which now I have. But going back to
What a funny
the
connection moment
masculine.
that hits. Not to cut you off too
Oh,
much,
yeah.
but like, what a funny moment that is whenever you're like, you realize like the work ethic and like your work side, and then all of a sudden your art side, and then they crash together, and you're like, wait a minute, I can make money off this.
This
Let's
is
go. This is
possible?
yeah, this is possible. This is my
reality?
dream. Yeah, let's go.
And that's actually the way of the future. That is the
Mhm.
way that humans are going to evolve and expand consciousness is
That's
through
the
that.
only way, because they're investing in their passions,
Yep.
which is partially of my company. It's like I'm trying to find people's niches and passions, and like how can I collaborate with them and find other people who are doing those things to make their dream. Because like if you're not doing something you like, if you're flipping burgers and you don't have a passion for cooking, you're not gonna enjoy doing what you do,
Mhm.
and you're gonna be resentful of it. If your passion is, like I want to be I don't know, anything else, a painter, a musician, whatever have yous, find that niche and chase it, and you're going to invest all of your passion and time into it and actually create something that you like and can stand back on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like I've had to deprogram myself that, going the artist path is has its own challenges. It is courageous in itself
Mhm.
because nothing's guaranteed. And
No.
we grew up in a society where they want us in the system and they want these guarantees. And also our parents want to not worry about us.
They want you to be secure.
They want you to be secure, exactly. And what does that look like? That looks like going to college. That looks like, getting a respectable career.
Not being too risky in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from a young age, I didn't even think I was creative. I literally thought I was not a creative person. My sister was. She could draw, she could paint, she did photography.
I thought my creativity was a crime at a lot of my childhood.
A crime.
I thought, well, my household was very much on the mindset of like, we're not creative people. Like there are artists who make it, but like it's a waste of time.
Yes.
To go and be spending all your time whenever you could be reading a book to invest in yourself, to be doing that. Art was not an investment into yourself. Art was like a casual pleasure, and we don't have time to be pleasurable right now. We have to work to make something so you can be secure.
And
it
that's
was
still
always-
how people view it.
That's how most people view it, but it's
Yeah.
like there's such a therapy in the art community, and like such a therapy in doing art itself. You kind of like it's an investment into yourself, and most people don't see it as that. I think that art needs to be far more promoted in like the school systems and in most everybody as a form of therapy.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
yeah.
my mind started jumping over to the side.
So we're okay, the feminine, and so the feminine is that creative, force, and she makes things grow. Like you give her an embryo, she makes it into a baby, things like that. And the intuition aspect. So and then also like the female vocals, when it actually comes to music, I really gravitate toward those and the melodies. Don't get me wrong, I love my heavy hitting bass as well. And that's just the yin and yang. Like you have
There's
to have
something about that motherly touch to it that's just like that feminine.
Yeah. So I really like to bring that light and that intention.
Mhm.
Really, those are my two words for bringing the divine feminine to the dance floor, is the light and the intention. And really just allowing people to feel free with whatever experience is unfolding at the moment. And we're all co-creating it together. And then that intention, I'm very intentional about what music I put out and the words that it says.
Yeah. It's a poetry.
It is. And people, they're in a very, very vulnerable state, sometimes under substances, mostly always dancing. These channels are open, and even if they aren't necessarily thinking consciously about the experience happening with the lyrics and the energies going on, it still affects them.
They're very sensitive to what's going on. They're very open to other people and what's happening, the whole energy around it. They're like a sponge.
Exactly. So as, a DJ and putting on events, and I come from the background of the event production where I think about every little thing and how that folds into the whole piece. So I'm intentional with the lyrics. I don't use any songs with curse words. I will say them myself, not on the mic, but in my day-to-day life. But with music, I think
keeping it on a digestible for all.
And I feel like whenever I listen to songs with curse words, I'm like, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, So for me, I purposefully don't use any songs with any curse words, and that's kind of just always been my thing too.
The point can be made with a little extra time in a thesaurus.
In not what?
And with a thesaurus. I can't say that.
Yeah, a thesaurus. We'll work on that word.
Yeah, well, we'll get there.
That's a tongue twister. So yeah, bringing that intention and that light, and I'm just like moving that into all the things I'm doing, and I've been so lucky. I've been DJing seriously for about a year and a half, and I got my deck before that, and I was so intimidated by it. I was like, I can't even look at this. It's so intimidating. And it was a gold special edition Pioneer 400.
Ooh.
And full circle, I just sold it.
Yeah.
And I moved on from that because
nice.
I'm ready for, I have.
It's no longer big and scary.
Yeah.
Because it's gone.
Yeah. It's on to someone else ready.
It can be big and scary over there.
Yeah. But now I looked at that when I was selling it. I was like, I remember I was so intimidated by this little thing. And now the reason why I'm selling it is because it's not enough. I need more bells and whistles.
Oh, I feel you. So what'd you get now?
I have the RX3.
Okay.
Pioneer RX3. So I love that. And then I also just got a Newmark Mixstream Pro Go, and that's for my YouTube sets.
Very nice.
So it's battery powered, and then it has speakers in it.
I was just looking at one of those. Somebody brought it to a party the other day.
Yeah.
I saw him doing it, and he was like, yeah, it connects to Spotify and everything. It was like Wi-Fi accessible, and I was like, bro, that's like a portable everything you need.
Yeah.
He brought his USB, but he didn't need it. I was like, I need that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just got that. Going into everything you can get when you have a passion, and when there's just so many amazing things on the market. Like I have sound boxes, I have, my decks, really, I am so grateful that I have my day job because it is fueling this passion of mine. And one day I truly believe it's going to switch over to be full-time. And thankfully, I do have both. And
do you have a goal? You have kind of a casual date when you're like, one day, maybe around here, no more day job.
Yeah.
That jumping point.
It is. It's that jumping point. It's that leap of faith. It's in the tarot, the first deck is 0, and it's called the Fool because it's not really foolish. It's that leap of faith. It's the 0. It's the everything and the nothing.
So difficult sometimes.
Yeah. So I'm not quite at the Fool yet, but that point to me is when my income with my day job, because my day job is so flexible, when my income with the day job is met with my DJing and music.
How consistently does that need to be?
So really it's more about quality over quantity at this point for me. So quantity, I was doing, so for the past year, I did 40 shows. I track all my shows. I'm on 50. I've done 50 shows as DJ Meeshy. And 40 of them were
do we count Purple Freckles as one?
Purple Freckles was one.
One and only.
She was the one that started it all. Yeah.
Okay.
And we left her at 1.
We left her at 1, and then Meeshy came over, and now she's at 1 to 50.
Yeah. So, anyway, where were we at with the how many I've done? Okay, yeah. So now I was for the past 12 months, I've done 4 a month. So once a week I've done them. And that's really, I wasn't doing once a week. I was doing multiple a weekend and then off a week. So for the past year, I've been really hitting hard.
Hustling.
And now I'm to the point where it's now quality. And I'm so grateful to be at that point because it feels like a breath of fresh air. And I'm also in music
production.
You're no
longer taking anything that you can get just to get out there. It's no. Now I'm choosing. Now we want, much better paid gigs. I'm worth it.
It's not even, I've never done it for the money. And that's how I know I love it. I've never made a decision for the money. It's a nice
benchmarker at times to be okay, here's kind of where they're valuing me and not how to play the game. But it's never really the point of making the music. It's still bringing out the light and the feminine to the dance floor, so we can shake our booties.
Yeah, exactly. And feel free in our bodies.
Exactly.
Yeah, that everyone deserves.
Yeah, get a little ecstatic dance in there.
Yeah, exactly. Ecstatic dance. So, what started it was when I was in Guatemala. There was a huge ecstatic dance community, and the festivals I was putting on, the events were under the premise of ecstatic dance.
I always thought that was a production. Like whenever I came into the scene, like not even like starting the music production, it was like me as a vendor doing my tie-dye. I always thought they were production, as in like, this is ecstatic dance, they're throwing on a show.
Okay.
What is ecstatic dance?
Yeah, so ecstatic dance is communities of people all around the world, the ecstatic dance community. There's pockets of it, especially in Bali, Guatemala, in places that are known as spiritual places especially. So there are 6 guidelines that all ecstatic dances follow, and anyone can put on ecstatic dance.
Sure.
Yeah. So and St. Pete has a great ecstatic dance community. Steep Station on Friday nights has ecstatic dance. Roots to Crown, I've DJ'd several ecstatic dances there. But it is the framework of these 6 guidelines is what makes ecstatic dance. So the first one is, I wrote them down because I want to get them right.
Let's see what we got.
The first one is be embodied. So that means no talking on the dance floor.
All right.
And that's an interesting one because when we go out, usually we're talking to people on the dance floor.
Sure.
And I really learned that when you talk to someone on the dance floor within the ecstatic dance realm, it takes them out of their body. The whole point is to be embodied.
I have an issue with that, and I think I might be following along these lines a lot more.
Probably are.
I don't want to. I came here for this. I came here to have my own little experience. I don't want to talk about your day.
Yeah.
It's like, if I want to talk about your day, we'll do it before or after.
Exactly.
Anytime this week. I got you.
Or on
Love
the
you.
side.
No, I came here for this. I'm sorry. We'll talk about it after.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So you already resonate with that.
Yeah.
So these are the rules. So be embodied, no talking on the dance floor. Be present, no cameras, no phones.
Oh, I love that.
And what that means is that it really allows people, gives them the permission to be totally free, be crazy, shake that booty, whatever you want, roll on the floor if that feels good, within that safe container. And no one's going to be filming you. And no one's distracted on their phone.
Yeah. It's the freedom of like, I love that I'm not going to be filmed, because it's like I can just close my eyes and like I can wiggle.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And when you look up at the DJ or the musician, you don't see a ton of phone screens.
Mm-hmm.
You see what's actually happening.
A bunch of people being present and in the moment. A be here now. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ram Dass.
Yes, Ram Dass. We love Ram Dass.
Oh my God, I love following him.
Yeah.
He's my favorite guideline spiritual teacher.
Oh yeah, and like his voice has been like mixed into some electronic music. Yeah,
Everything.
Alan Watts. I love the good Alan Watts.
I kind of will
remixes.
go to sleep with them just because it's like their voices too will just kind of carry me into a nice lull, and it's like now my subconscious is absorbing this, and like if it's the last thing I was thinking about when I went to go to bed, it's the first thing I'm waking up when I come. It's like my mood is set for the day as I'm going to sleep.
Subconscious programming. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on to something.
We got a few tricks over here.
Yeah, we do.
You know, just for you folks at home. That one was free. No charge added.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have Be Clear, so substance free.
I do like that.
You know, I support all medicines, and I think there's a time and a space for whatever people resonate with. This one just happens to be substance free, and it allows people to, again, be in a safe space, to be clear, to be embodied, to follow these guidelines. And then be consensual, nonverbal communication. So with the no talking, a lot of people also like to dance with people on the dance floor. And so that looks like the universal, like, do you want to dance is this? And then if you don't, prayer to hands and bow. And it's nothing personal. No. It never is. It's just maybe I'm in my own moment. And, you know, I don't want to.
I'm feeling me right now and I just want to.
Yeah, exactly. So that be consensual, nonverbal communication, be here, and that is no shoes. So grounded into whatever environment you are. Mostly ecstatic dances are in nature, so that's very natural to like be barefoot in the sand. But yeah, no shoes, and that's a fun one.
Oh, I love the stinky feet. You know, we gotta shuffle and get a little dirty.
There is some interesting smells that come up with ecstatic dances. And the last one is brief, be free, dance how you want, and no judgment, and most importantly, no self judgment.
That's a hard one,
It
especially
is
with
a hard
artists,
one.
because like we all have the what's the word I'm looking for? The we discussed this earlier. And I still can't remember the damn name.
Oh, it's imposter
Thank
syndrome.
you, Jesus.
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome, and like people have that same thing whenever they think about themselves singing in the shower or dancing on the dance floor, or hell, even dancing at home by themselves. They're even got that self-conscious like, I'm not really good enough to be doing this, and it bleeds from like the start of art to even like yourself where and I assume and even myself when I'm doing tie-dye, we've hit a certain level of where we calling ourselves pretty successful in wherever we're at. We're not top, but we're not bottom. We're not, we're succeeding in it, and still we go, I feel like a fake.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is actually me. Am I getting too close to copying other people's stuff, or am I like, where's that line? I mean, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, again, the way of the artist is not an easy path, but it is so rewarding. And
it's almost akin to madness in some senses.
It is, yeah. And that's a beautiful part of it. Like, Alice in Wonderland, that's a beautiful artistic piece. And There's so much madness in that.
Yeah.
And you do have to, like, think outside the box and really push the limits. And as an artist, and especially creating something new, like, all of this self-doubt can come in. Like, when I first started in music, I was like, who am I? Who am I to do this? I'm some, girl from Indiana, but who am I not?
Yeah,
why not?
It's from the start of like choosing the name. You're sitting here like trying to self-develop a character that you can be embodying and grow up with, and then as you start building that, you start noticing, is this me or is this a character, or like where do those lines, is this my full self-expression? More of that imposter syndrome sneaking in on different sides of the aspect.
Yeah, I struggled with imposter syndrome. Some tongue twisters here on this one. Like, I forget when it was. It wasn't too long. It was a couple months. And I've really been just growing exponentially, and my shows are getting bigger. My opportunities are getting bigger. I'm so grateful. Festivals and things like that. And what did I did my first festival, and everyone said it was great.
Where were you?
I was at Lotus Gathering.
Okay.
So it was a small one, but it was still like a big deal.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard. Thank you. Yeah. I worked really hard on that set. I practiced it. I got everything dialed in, and I did it. And afterward, I was just like, I did horrible. But there was no evidence in that. There was zero.
Because you've practiced it over and over and over. Now you got an image in your head, and everybody else is like, that was fucking great.
Yeah,
you're over here like, I heard that transition wasn't what I needed. You need to turn the gain down a little up over here.
Yeah, like, you're your worst critic.
Always.
But it wasn't even like, I listened to it over and over, and I was like, it all sounds great. Like, why do I feel like I did horrible? Like, and then it was like a self-worth issue. Like, I didn't feel like it was such a big point where I like am now like, okay, I did my first festival. Like, that's a big point. And I went down, like I said, this was like 2 months ago. I went down this whole rabbit hole of TED Talks on imposter syndrome, Reddit's on imposter syndrome, and everyone that's done anything in their life has had it, and it's very common. And like billionaires, like I was reading stories about billionaires that are super successful, being like, who am I to do this? Like, I don't feel like this is.
Why are they paying me millions, billions of dollars to do
this?
Is this what they're paying me? Okay, sure. And same thing.
Or like thinking you weren't good enough for it, or all this stuff. So it's very.
How did I weasel my way in here?
Exactly.
So who's going to expose me one day, and everybody's going to just drop me? I'm canceled now because like that one person saw behind the mask.
Yeah.
The curtain was blown.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens naturally as you grow into. Next progressions of yourself, next levels of yourself, is you're learning that new version of you. And you're learning to accept that person. And it can feel different. It can feel scary. It can feel like, unfamiliar. I think that's really what the feeling was for me, is like, what is this unfamiliar territory?
We're growing up every single day. And like, it's easier to be the person a week ago because like, I've digested that person. That whole day has gone through my head a few times, maybe. and like I accept that person for all of their nonsense. Today's person, ooh, I don't know what they're gonna do. I have new decisions to make. Who are they?
Yeah. And, not everyone feels like that, but I feel like if you are creating and if you are growing,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to continually face these new parts of yourself. But thankfully, I haven't felt, stagnation. I haven't hit like a creative block. I'm sure it's coming. I haven't thankfully hit burnout from doing a year of 4 shows a month.
Yeah, that kind of blows my mind. I'm not like I'm on the other side of that, just going. I try to throw a show a month, and I'm blowing my mind out.
Yeah.
Trying to do a show a week, like and then you said a little bit ago multiple shows a week, and I'm just over here like, oh geez, girlfriend.
When
Good
you
luck
love
to
it,
you. I feel you.
Yeah, that it's been quite the journey. It's been a grind in itself, but I love every second of it. Like when I wake up, it's all I think about. The first thing I think about, and the last
It's your
thing I think
passion
about.
and love.
Yeah, it is. Music, dancing, events, friends.
I feel you.
Why are we here today?
Yeah. That's why we're here trying to promote all this stuff and create the discussion, because it's like bringing more people into it, because it saves lives. Like it really does. Like you never know when, even though there's a lot of promotion, and like I like to promote the option, because I can't condone it obviously, and it can happen at the shows where people are taking substances, but you never know when that bass drops and that substance hits, like mushrooms or what have you, or hell, you're sober and you just had a bad day, and all of a sudden that one song came on and it grabbed you because it's nostalgic to your childhood, and it hit something, and you're just like life-changing moment there, and then you go back to your friends and it's just like I'm completely new.
Yeah, it's so refreshing.
You never know, and that also keys into one thing I do like to share, which is treat people as they are right then and there, because like they aren't that person from last week. They're changing and they're new. So like that forgiveness and grace, and it's like it's the music industry and the whole art scene really changes people. I never thought I would be on the other side of it. I created an art piece, and I saw one girl literally drop to her knees and start crying. Wow. I had to back up and go, oh my God, this is a lot of energy. I'm not really sure how to handle this. I'm just like kind of backed up and watched, but it's like, I didn't think that much of it. I had my own looks at it where I was like, that doesn't look good. Like I need to adjust this. I need to finish the sides of it. And it took me like 30 hours to create, but then it made somebody cry. The funniest thing is it was a mirror and a frame, and I had worked on the whole thing. It fell over and broke that night after I brought it out for its first production. Like, here it is. Some girl dropped her knees and cried about it. It was like, and then it broke.
Wow.
It was created for her only. That was the moment. That's it. And you never know where your art was going.
Yeah.
Like how it can just change the lives of other people. It's such an important project piece that you're, like lifestyle and project that you're involving yourself in and like chasing. So like, we appreciate it.
Oh yeah. I know. And like another like really important thing that this conversation brings out again and again is no one is competition.
Mm-mm.
And everyone is here like for the same goals.
Yes.
And if they're not, then honestly, the people that don't align with me or aren't like my energetic match don't even come in my realm. I don't even like have access to them.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow they just are naturally.
Yeah, like you draw what you are. And so the people that I've been so lucky to be around and meet and collaborate with and get closer with, like with you now, just we have that same passion and that same heart. We have the same hearts. And what's in heart? Art.
Hey, there it is. Yeah, I like that.
So and we can all relate to each other and doing something different. Like we are breaking societal norms. Like this is a really up and coming time for our generation and the younger generations to do something different than what's been done. People don't want to work in an office 9 to 5. People don't want that corporate hustle.
We really realized that a lot during COVID as well. It shook and broke all the status quo. And now all of us look back and went,
what were we thinking?
I can make money from home now.
Yeah.
I can self-create because I had nothing else to do. So what else did I do? I was probably self-creating in some way, shape, or form.
You always are, whether you realize it or not. Like I said, I didn't even think I was creative. And I worked really hard. I put myself through college because I thought that's what I needed to do. And thankfully it was, because I do have my job now during the day because of my college degrees. But it's it's allowed me to be this version of myself and have this whole side of myself that I don't know, where I would be without that.
Yeah, I feel
But
like
every path is different.
And I feel like on the every path is different. I love to see the paths of artists kind of going on that collaboration, like you were talking about, how we can we're not necessarily competition to each other, but we are in some senses. And like I've been talking with, and shout out to like Alchemy and Sacred Sessions, and then a few of the other people that are throwing shows. Those are probably the ones I'm seeing most closely related to. And I've been talking with a few of them, and it's like we're not trying to necessarily collaborate where we're both throwing the same show yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we're also not trying to view each other's competition. Like I'll go support their stuff and hand out their flyers and make their post, help them, but I'm not a part of their team. And maybe they're helping me out on some way, shape, or form. I pull them on the podcast, whatever have you. We're not necessarily collaborating, but we're not competing. And the only way we do compete is if I'm throwing a gas show, then I'm making you better by giving you inspiration. How can you be better? How can I be better? And then we're friendly, just keeping each other going.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of creates our own little environment together. Maybe we do collaborate, or maybe we just respectfully go, my show's on this date and I'm doing this. All right, well, I'll change my idea over here so I'm not doing something too soon after yours. And we can keep, keeping the community on a happy-go-lucky level.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the collaboration is super important. So I guess I would lead into whatever you were going to say if you want to, or who are you collaborating with? Do you have any collaborations you've done or what you're going into?
Yeah, so, I mean, my focus has been on the local St. Pete community. So I've, just the shows I've done, I've played Sacred Sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Sacred Snow and that whole team, and they're so supportive. And
I love what they're doing with the sober community.
Yeah, again, so that really relates to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're offering a sober container.
Yeah, I think it's essential.
Like bass music too, and I feel like that especially is a unique scene. I love bass music, and
it's also hard for a lot of people to even get sober in this community because it's so saturated, and for people to kind of help bring that in, I feel like it's a kind of a nice, it feels good to be like, all right, I want for this show.
Exactly.
At minimum,
just
I'm
try
not for this show.
different.
And everybody else there is not, so it's very supportive and easy to do it.
Yeah. And so support that. And I would say my biggest collaboration within the community is called Sacred City.
Okay.
And it's my friends and I, it's been going for a while. How it started was kirtan. So kirtan is mantras chanted over and over and over again and sung with a beautiful band and instruments. And they're ancient Sanskrit from India mantras, and they're light and love, but they're in another language, and it's like an energetic, it unlocks something in you. So they've been doing that for years within St. Pete and have gained a following and a trust of people in a community. And then I was going to that, and he was like, hey, Thomas Waterman, he lives here in St. Pete. He has founded Sacred City, and we talked about doing more of a dance party. And one of the pillars of Sacred City is sober, and the others are safe and sovereign and silly.
Yeah, of course. You
got to have the silly in there.
It's no fun without being silly.
I know, that's at the base of everything. I want to be laughing all day long.
Oh, 100%. If I can't be silly, then am I being authentic to myself?
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah. So Sacred City, and we were putting on dances, sober dances that were basically our visions collided in bringing sacred to the city. So I was kind of the city, I've played in clubs, I've played in different venues in, substance and non-substance spaces. And then he's sacred. And we came together, and at Rooster Crown, we put together a couple events where we had themed, and I curated the whole beginning to end with messaging throughout my set. And I had one of my friends here, Meg, that lives in St. Pete, shout out Meg Sutherland, that she came on with the violin. So that was my first time having a live instrument looped into my set, which was next level. And so we were doing that, and now we did a really big New Year's Eve party and had a headliner Equanimous in. And now we have in April, end of April, it's called Camp Sacred City.
I
It's in
saw something about that.
Wonderfield, and it's a sober Burning Man.
Oh, all right, word.
Yeah, so everyone goes, you buy the ticket price, and then everything, there's no vending, no fees, other than if you want to buy food. And everyone sets up their own camps or tents, and they offer something for free, and you have to have an offering.
Mhm.
And whether that's, holding space, giving a hug, sound bath. I also put on women's workshops in St. Pete,
Okay.
and we're going to be most likely offering our women's workshop within that space as well. But offerings, and then we have headliners and Full Circle from Guatemala. We have Mos, the guy that inspired me.
Oh, nice.
We brought him in from Guatemala, and that was a beautiful connection. We have Equanimous again, and we have Parangi. So they're more in the tribal electronic music scene, and they're really big within the ecstatic dance community. Yeah. So Parangi, he brings in so many instruments and flutes and didgeridoos and drums, and yeah. So I'm doing the opening set for that weekend. So it's those 3 headliners and me. I told someone that, and I was like, "Yeah, we have 3 global headliners and me." And my brother, it was my brother. He
Sure.
goes, "So you need 4 headliners?" And I was like, "Yes,
there it is.
Imposter syndrome."
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, and I was like, "You're right. I am a headliner.
Yeah,
I'm worthy of being on that."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've really grown with that, and that's really exciting. So the sober Burning Man, I'm also going to Love Burn, and I'm DJing at 2 camps there.
Very nice. Which ones?
Sky Bar is one, so they have a big scaffolding in the downtown area.
Okay.
And I'm going to be DJing a set there, and then Camp Cafe 22 Mangled, and they have a beach set up, very professional sound system, and they have a whole beach area, and I'm going to be DJing there as well.
Very nice. Hoping to be out there this year.
I think you can make it.
On my birthday, I'm trying to.
The 18th.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
I know. I know.
Yeah, so that's happening. And then I'm also now in these after hours with Privé that does afters in Tampa, and I've done one over there.
Okay.
And now I'm doing a techno show at Synergy February 23rd with Oscar L. He's a huge techno and tech house guy from Europe.
Oh, nice.
And the lineup is pretty crazy. I'm going to be DJing that, and that's at Synergy.
Where can we check that out? Where can we find that?
All that's going to be on my Instagram, at Meeshy, MEE.
Go check it out.
SHY music. And then what I forgot to say about my name was when I added the Y, and I was like, Meeshy, and then I thought, bringing the divine feminine to the dance floor, and then a couple weeks later I was like, when you pronounce Meeshy, it's me, she. I am she.
Oh, I love it.
And so that was really how I knew. Yeah.
It does spell me shy as well.
Meeshy, which is
that little
too.
imposter syndrome, just almost whispering its name there, and it's I'm still conquering that by being me.
Exactly. Yes, I love that, because growing up I was very shy.
Oh, 100%. I was homeschooled, so throwing me out into ones.
I was also homeschooled a little bit.
Were you really?
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. Oh,
yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that. That's a nice little connection there.
Mm-hmm.
But being homeschooled, it's you come out into the world a little bit more, and you're like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah. How do I talk to people?
Exactly. I struggled for a hot minute there through college, just what do I do? And then eventually I just joined the student government, because it was that's what I know. I at least know something over here.
Yeah, and
it's finding your people,
breaking free of the box you put yourself in. And yeah, I just love the ever evolving image of self through this journey.
What would you say that the heaviest box that maybe you're still breaking out of, or you already broken out of, or both even?
Yeah, it comes down to my offering. So I am in music production course, and I really feel like that is where I'm going to also elevate, is producing my own music. And what like the biggest part in the journey for me about that was even though I'm not producing my own music, I'm still worthy of like being a DJ.
Of
I'm
course.
still worthy of creating experiences. Like when I first had Meeshy and I wanted to make my Instagram Meeshy music, which it is, but I wasn't producing music, so I didn't feel worthy of putting music in my Instagram name. And I was going to do DJ Meeshy, and I really sat with it, and I was like, I want something I can grow into, and I know my goals. And so just giving myself permission to be everything I am now and knowing that I have so much more to go and I'm willing to grow, I'm willing to work hard, but allowing myself the success and the recognition now.
Yeah, it's recognizing I will be there, and it's almost like a manifestation. Is like, if I want to be there, I have to be there now. I have to absorb that. And if I'm not, if I'm too cautious and I say, all right, well, maybe it's just Meeshy and I don't want to add anything else, like maybe one day I'm not like reminded. It's like a nice reminder of here's my goal, here's where I'm going. Yeah. And it's like stepping into that now.
The now, exactly. Like be envisioning who I want to be, but as the version of me now. So I do a lot of visualization. Like right when I wake up, my wall is some logos of like different venues and festivals around the world I want to play, and then a Polaroid of me DJing, and then that plaque my mom gave me of Follow Your Dreams.
So cute.
And I wake up, I look at that, and I'm like, these are my dreams, and I'm doing what I can today to make that happen.
I have one that sits like right there on my wall. So as I go to sleep, it's like I'm going to bed. I look at it, I see it, and then I'm going to sleep. And it's almost like it's just like feeding down into
what
me.
Is
it's
it?
Like my reminder. It's my list of 2024.
Oh yeah, mine is also up there.
Yep. Because it's just like I need to be reminded of it, and it's like I put stuff that on there when I was writing it. I went on there and wrote like I want this and I want this, and it's like here's my goals that I'm going to be doing. And then I went back and I almost started editing them, the numbers down smaller, be like, well, that's almost not retainable. And I went, no, you know what? I'm adding an extra number to it now because I'm not like, excuse my French, don't pussyfoot around it. Yeah. Go after it. Chase after it. Yeah. They may be unattainable. Thank you. Unapologetically chasing after it. Yeah. And then the funniest thing was I wrote it down on like the last new moon of the year, right before, it was like December 12th, I wrote it down. Within the next 2 weeks, that list already had check marks off of it. And I was like, I haven't even started. Like, can I almost get to the year so I can then be excited? Because now I feel like I have to add stuff now to it,
That's what happens when you're really in your flow, in your dharma, which is your soul's purpose, is things that just happen at such a rapid pace that also I wrote down my 2024 list, and within the first week I was already getting I'd already gotten booked for someone I wanted to play for.
I love it.
And I was like, this is so crazy. Yep. Like it just happens so quick. And so great.
So what, I guess, I don't know if you ever answered it. What would be one of the boxes besides the imposter syndrome that we've been breaking out of? And then is there anything that you're kind of like, almost to humanize the whole experience? What is something that you're struggling with now in
this artist
in period path. Like in ... where it applied.
So going to these questions, one of the things that I struggle with is are you willing to make crappy art? And for me, I know that where I am now with like my mixes and stuff like that, like I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and I've still put it out there, and I know this is where I am now, and I still sometimes struggle. I'm like, oh, this could be perfect, but what is perfect? Perfect doesn't exist.
Who's defining crappy art? Is it me defining my own art, or is the opinion of others? Because I've created stuff that I'm super proud of, and most people just kind of like shrug at, and then there's stuff that is like, I'm not going to charge a lot for that tie-dye. I don't like it, and then somebody just runs across the room to come get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like. Yeah. What some people see trash, and others sees as gems, or what is the saying?
Another man's trash is one man's treasure.
Exactly. So the thing that I still constantly remind myself is that I can't chase perfection because that doesn't exist. And to put out
It'll
things,
destroy you so fast too.
I put out something if it's 90%. Because if I'm going to just sit there and nitpick it
Mhm.
for hours and hours and try and get that extra 10%, I'm wasting time where I could just move on to the next project.
Oh,
So that's a
100%.
constant thing about like just saying when to, or knowing when to say when
Mhm.
and moving on. And being willing to put out something that is
Good enough.
good enough.
They even say it in therapy. They're even keying it in because I love studying therapy, and it's like I'm going through my own little therapy book right now, doing my own self-healing because depression comes on during a lot of doing all of these things. It's bitch, can't get out of bed sometimes. And one of the things that they were saying is like good enough parenting, a good enough friend, because there's nobody who's out there who's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like good enough.
Exactly. And remembering that everyone is doing the best they can, including yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I remind myself that
Sympathy
all the
and
time.
grace.
Yeah, and forgiveness. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to quick go over these because I feel like for the listeners, we're dreamers, we're artists, we're creatives. And I found this on Instagram recently, and there are 9 questions artists of all kinds need to ask themselves. And these really helped me in my perspective and helped me just in my path. So the first one is, are you willing to be seen?
Ooh.
Powerful.
Are you willing to get on stage in a sense?
Yeah. Are you willing to be seen? Are you willing, whatever that means?
Yeah.
Are you willing to be misunderstood? This one's big. Because not everyone's going to understand you, and that's okay.
I feel like nobody fully, like, do you even understand yourself? How are they going to understand you if you can't even quite diagnose who you are? You're still self-experimenting and self-creating.
Yeah.
How are they going to?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you can't please everyone, and neither should you try. Because I realize that the more you rise and the more light you are, there are people that want to dim you down, and people are always going to have an opinion about something, and you're not for everyone, and I don't want to be for everyone.
No, the best comedians are the ones who are just, as we've said, unapologetically authentic.
Yes, exactly. Authenticity. We haven't really talked about that, but that is like huge.
Sure, yeah, okay, unapologetically, whatever, but unapologetically authentic. I will refuse to be anything besides
what's true to me right now.
Yeah.
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 Are you willing to make some crappy art? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Background to it.
Are you willing to admit you're quite good at this? Giving yourself that validation, like, wow.
Patting yourself on the back.
Yeah, like when I was struggling with my first festival set, and then I was like, okay, I'm going through imposter syndrome. Like, these are all very normal things to be feeling, and wow, I gave myself permission to feel them, and then I was like, I gave myself permission to be good. Like, my set was good. Yeah. I'm proud of that. And so, giving yourself permission. Are you willing to prioritize small steps over big steps?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. I find myself sitting at home a lot of times, and it's like some of those days, like, if I have a string of depression, it's like allowing yourself to be like, I only can accomplish today. Today's not one of those days that I accomplish major steps. And a lot of times, like, I won't want to start a project or do it unless I can do steps about it. And it's like, how do you get through it? You take one bite of elephant. Yeah. One little bite. We're not trying to shove the whole leg in our mouth.
Yeah, that's a funny analysis. I like that. Eating the leg of an elephant. Yeah, absolutely. Are you willing to pick yourself before anyone else recognizes your worth? Believing in yourself first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't get noticed. They're still, waiting tables in Hollywood, if you will. Are they going to quit or are they going to keep chasing their dream?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nothing's guaranteed, but what else would we be doing?
And what's cool about it is you may never be the star of the show at where your image of, perfection, if you will, is. You may never be that big star of the show, but guess what? You impacted those people in your community a huge amount because you were personal to them. You weren't able to get huge and be impersonal where you can't meet all the fans and stuff like that, but you changed the lives of more people by being, even maybe smaller than that because you're changing your community rather than just trying to tackle the world, if you will.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like I'm interviewing you. No, this is co-creation, collaboration. This is great. Okay. Are you willing to claim the title of artist? I feel like I didn't even think I was an artist for a while.
I feel like everyone is.
Everyone is.
Everyone is.
Absolutely.
They don't want to claim it.
Claim it. Are
Yeah.
you willing to claim it?
That's fast. That's a good one.
Are you willing to ruffle feathers?
Oh yeah. That's a hard one.
Oh yeah, we know that one.
Trying to please everybody in the community, trying to please the other promoters and the other agents and yada yada, and trying to make sure that everybody's happy. It's not attainable.
Yeah, exactly. No. And you're doing something right if you are ruffling feathers, because that means that you're doing something new. You're doing something
you might
different.
even be standing up for yourself.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's ruffle more feathers.
Yep.
And the last one, number 9, are you willing to take up space unapologetically?
Claim yourself, stand up tall.
Yeah. Be willing to be seen,
mm-hmm.
Be willing to believe in yourself, be willing to say yes to the opportunity, even when it doesn't, even though it feels so big. Just unapologetically, I'm out here. We're doing this.
I'm good enough to do this. I'm good enough to get on stage. I'm good enough to throw a show. Nobody told me I had to. You just wake up one day and go,
you're taking up space.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Move over, world. You know what? I'm meant to be here.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, that's one difficult one that a lot of people just never quite want to. Because again, do we want to ruffle feathers? Not really. We want to be nice to everybody, but then again, over, bitch.
Yeah. Someone new's coming to town.
Exactly. And if anything, you stimulate the environment to create somebody's new projects. They hear your stuff, they're like, oh wait, shit, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I lost the point. It's gone. You guys don't get to see it. It's gone.
Yeah. Well, all of it relates to being authentic and being true to yourself. Mm-hmm. And when you are that, the right people will come to you, the right collaborations, the right opportunities.
It's almost, and then also maybe not forcing it, but just being in an essence of allowing. Because as you're mm-hmm. sitting in your own authentic self, you're not really encouraged to force anything. It's just kind of
magnetizes to mm-hmm. you. Yeah. So,
well, I think that wraps up really well. I think that, did you have anything else you wanted to say, or throw out your hashtags and throw that promotions out there?
I feel complete. Yeah, you got my Instagram, my upcoming shows, and
hell yeah,
what I'm about, what you're about,
mm-hmm.
what we're about.
Okay, one more time. Instagram
is
right
at Meeshy
YouTube.
Music. At Meeshy Music.
All of it, Meeshy Music. Don't forget it.
SoundCloud, Meeshy Music.
Right.
TikTok, Meeshy Music.
There it is. You can find all of it on a link tree or something.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And just for you folks at home, we wanted to say, get well soon, Daniel. He's feeling a little scratchy in the throat. So we're kind of replacing it over on this side, trying something new. So let us know what you think. We're we love all you guys at home, and we want to send him best wishes. He's behind the other side of the camera. So not entirely out of it, but keeping his voice a little secure. So, send some love his way as well. So we appreciate everybody. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, day, whatever have yous. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You guys are great. Yeah, I like that.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.